And then we will talk about job profiles. So, this being an HCM software, we need to create job profiles to be able to hire people right. Every worker you hire needs to have a job profile. What is a job profile? It describes what that worker is supposed to do, isn't it? Now, whenever some recruiter calls you for a new job opportunity, you ask that person, okay, what is a job profile? What am I supposed to do in that job, or what does this job require me to do? Don't we ask them. What is the job profile that you are recruiting me for? What will be my responsibilities? So a job profile will talk about the generic features and characteristics of the job. And you can also create a position based on that job profile. Okay. So a job profile will contain details like, okay, what are the responsibilities, the tasks that this person needs to do? Number 1. It will also have details like, alright, what is the qualification required? Right. MBA or bachelor's degree or school degree. What are the certifications required? What are the skills required for this particular job? All of that will be put in this particular object, that is, a job profile. Then we will talk about another core concept is the compensation. This is the umbrella term for all the different things that we will talk about in compensation, like packages, grades, grade profiles, and plans. Anything within related to compensation we will talk about in compensation. Now let me ask you this. Is compensation given to employees only, or is it given to contingent workers as well? Employees only. Anyone who thinks different or who thinks no, even as contingent workers, we get paid. How are contingent workers paid then? They are not paid directly by the company where they're working as contingent workers. They are paid. They are treated as suppliers of services. So somebody who, like they, are typically employed by other organizations and they are sent as workers to this company. They work there as a contingent worker or a short-term worker. So a compensation is it's typically for your employees. Now, there are different types of workers when we talk about that. There can be a fixed-term employee as well. Like an employee is hired only for a year. That is a fixed term. Those type of employees are also there in some countries. There are regular employees, there are fixed-term contracts, and then there are contingent workers. A contingent worker may work with a company for 10 years. That is also possible. It is not like contingent worker means only for 6 months or 3 months or 2 months. It's not like that. A contingent worker may work for 10 years. I have seen some contingent workers work for 15 years. No issues, right? But so nowadays, there is a lot of mix, and then there is a new type of worker called as gig workers. People who come and do their work and leave, right, like maybe somebody who comes in to paint your office. They know that their only task is to come and paint and leave. They're a gig worker. Their only task is to do a gig. Like the gig, workers are typically associated. The gigs are typically associated with the musicians, right? So you perform a gig or they perform a gig. So what do? They bring in their musical instruments, set it up, play for the evening and leave. Take their payments and leave right. They're not an employee of that place where they are performing. So similarly for gig workers. So that is a new type of workers that are coming up. So they will come in, do their thing and leave. So, but anyway, the compensation is something that is paid to employees only. It can be salary, it can be hourly wages, but compensation is only for your employees and not for contingent workers. Then another core concept is the security right. We will talk about the security groups, the group of users who need to have the same access. Like all managers, need to have a similar kind of access right. All HR administrators need to have a similar kind of access. All HR partners or benefits partners, payroll administrators. They need to have a similar kind of access right. So we will see how Workday's security system works, how we will group the users into security groups, and how we will assign them some permissions. Okay. So security is also a core concept of Workday HCM. And the last core concept is business process. Now, business process is a sequence of one or more tasks that accomplishes a desired business objective, right? Like we discussed about, let's say, the hire process. There will be a sequence of tasks that needs to happen before you hire a worker, right? So then, and all of these tasks will not be performed by the same person or the same group of person, it will be done by different groups of persons. So we will see how we can configure the business processes in Workday OK. So these are your 6 core concepts.